Okay, it says that my video is starting. I don't know. I saw this spinning wheel before I started talking. So, hey, if you're here, welcome. I am Sheryl Uehling. I am from Tutoring with Sheryl, and I also am from the Tech Hub for Tutors at Tech Tutor Innovate here on Facebook. And you can find me over on YouTube under the same handles, Tutoring with Sheryl and Tech Tutor Innovate. So you can go and look for videos and educational things that will not only help your child if they're struggling reader, but if you're a tutor and you're like, how do you get started? I've got some great tools for you. Now, some of these videos you won't see because they're private videos and you're going to have to get an actual video link from me. And so what I've done is I've set up a course for tutors, and I've had several tutors take the course. And it's really interesting to get feedback from them because some of them are like, oh, it's maybe I'm not ready to make the jump into the tech part, but everything else that you told me was really great. And then other tutors are like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have known this sooner. I would no longer be traveling to the students' houses. I mean, gosh, I've just been wasting a lot of time doing that. And so I've got some good feedback on it. And so what I want you to know is that you can have access to all of this information that I'm going to go through with you for 3 months. You get access for 3 months, and then you get a full hour of one-to-one coaching with me. And I think what's really interesting is you can either start with the coaching and kind of ask your questions first and then take the training. You can do the training, get about half of it done, schedule your hour with me, or you can do the training all at once and then get back in touch with me. And I've had tutors do all of it. I've also had tutors just take the training and then they haven't wanted the one-on-one coaching. But I think you're really missing out on that personalized touch. Like, I can literally help you walk through some things. For example, after my most recent attendee finished this, he really just wanted to kind of see how I did all of it. So I talk about strategies, but he wanted to see it all in motion. So I took him into my TutorBird classroom, or my TutorBird website, my TutorBird like analytics, like where I shouldn't call it analytics. It's like my dashboard. That's the word I was looking for. And I showed him, like this is where I can schedule my meetings and that I can do all of my billing here. And if I used Zoom, I could have my link there. I don't do that. But then I took him into my Google Classrooms and I showed him how some of my students have most of my students have their own Google Classroom, but many of my students have a shared classroom. If they're all working on the same skill at the same time, I'll have them all in the same classroom, and then we can go there to get the things that I've set up. So sometimes when first of all, if you're a really busy teacher and you're really overwhelmed, sometimes just thinking about, setting up your own business can be really overwhelming. But looking at somebody else's business through a different lens really gives you clarity. And it's just like, especially teachers, if you've done any student teaching in the classroom or you've done any literal teaching in the classroom, you look at it and you're like, oh, so this is how that person does it. I like their idea, but I think I would tweak it and do it this way. So that's why I named this course Techniques for Building a Successful Tutoring Business, because this model won't fit everybody perfectly, but it does take you through the steps that I took. So inside of the course, I have many opportunities for you to go and learn. My video library, my shortest video is about 9 minutes. My longest one is about 6 minutes. My longest one is about 28 minutes. And you can kind of just pick and choose the order that you want to go through this because everybody's going to be at a different point. But I start out with, you're tackling this big idea of being in the tutoring world, and you're really used to being in the classroom. What is that going to look like for you? And is it like a downgrade? No, it's absolutely not. So I take you through kind of my pep talk there, and then I do a comparison of what's it going to look like if you're in person or online, and some things to consider. But really, you could do either one. You can do both. It's totally up to you. Then I go through thinking about the tools that you're going to need to teach whatever you want to teach. So maybe you are a PE teacher and you want to offer online physical education courses for kids. Maybe you're looking to get into the homeschool market and you're thinking, oh, they need a PE teacher. Great, super. What tools do you need to do that? Or maybe you're a high school chemistry tutor and you are looking at teaching both in person at a center and online. What are the tools? Do you actually want to have physical labs that the kids are going to do, or are you going to be online and you're just strictly going to be working through equations? What is that going to look like for you? So what are the tools that you need to be successful? So you also need to be thinking about narrowing your niche. And I know I was given this advice and I didn't follow it at first, and I about drove myself crazy trying to service the needs of every single student in every single area. And I'd love to say that you can do it all, but my specialty is elementary. Right now I'm really focusing on the reading, the language arts. I will support some math, but what I've really found is for me to be really sharp and have all the tools that my students need, I really needed to narrow down and really work on that reading. And of course, we want all of our students to be able to read and write. I also take you through the steps to scheduling, teaching, and then notating and communicating with parents, because that is really important. Parents expect really good service from you. They want really solid communication. If my parents are checking their emails after either that night or the next morning, depending on how busy I was, I will notate it and I will send them an email. They might look at it, they might not, and that's okay. But they know that they can go back into their emails, whatever email they shared with me, and do that. And sometimes even like just this last week, this week actually, I did some videos of some of the students were reading, and I was like, okay, we're going to do a video and we're going to share that with your parents so they can see how you're progressing, because they're not always sitting there just right there at that moment in time. So good customer service, you really want to make sure that you have that. I use Google Meet. I know a lot of people use Zoom. My training is specifically about Google Meet, but the things in the training can go right along with any digital service you're using, whether you're using Facebook Messenger. Some people literally use that to tutor. Some people will use Skype. Some people will use Zoom or Koala Go or whatever. So the tools and the techniques that I share with you, it's very interchangeable. I also go through talking about having a really solid website and blogging. And I used to have a WordPress site. It's going to go down in December. I'm not going to pay for it anymore. And I'm using my TutorBird website. And I love my TutorBird website. And in my update at the very end, I go and I show you that. And it's just really easy. It's easy breezy. I also really encourage you to think about looking at curriculum and, again, more on the teaching tools, like what specifically are you going to need? And then most tutors at some point need a whiteboard. So, be thinking about that as well. I take you through some planning on your marketing. Like, how are you going to market this? Are you going to solely use Facebook? Are you going to use TikTok or YouTube? Or are you just going to have your website and throw it out there and hope that you generate leads that way? Or are you going to use paid ads? I don't know. But I kind of take you through those steps and things to think about. I have a whole section on using social media. And this is a perfect example of using social media. You push the go live and you just start talking. And there's a lot of tutors that are very uncomfortable with that. Right now, it doesn't appear that anybody's watching this live. That doesn't bother me, because this is going to be out there, and then when somebody comes to visit my website and they want more information, they're going to click it and watch it, and that's great. It's just going to hang out there. And then later, a year from now, I can go back and see, well, I can look at the analytics. Who was looking at it? Where are they from? How long did they stay? So that's all really important. I also take you through how to use Facebook Meta Planner to batch your content so that you're not sitting there all the time trying to plan things to put out. Kind of do that all at once. I talked about how I became fully booked, and fully booked for one person is going to be completely different for another person. I mean, I know tutors who rent a space and they are literally at that designated space from 8 o'clock in the morning until 7 o'clock at night. More power to you. I don't operate that way. I live on a farm. I am needed around our property to do different things and to deliver things for people and go get parts. I wouldn't be able to do that. So the way that we are now living our lives, I'm available for part of the day for that, and then the rest of the day I'm available for my students and for the people who I mentor. So I think that's really important to remember. As a private manager of your business, you can decide what does that look like for you. And then my I have another video in the tools that I'm sharing is, can a podcast grow your business? And it can. I'm living proof of it. And actually, I've grown my mentoring and my coaching side more than I have probably my private tutoring. But again, I kind of have this mix of information. If I was only giving reading tips on there, I'm sure I could grow the tutoring side a little bit more. But I've used that to kind of grow my coaching side because I love working with adult learners as well. And then the last thing that's in there is the updates on all the techniques that I'm currently using with my practice, and you kind of get to see the behind the scenes. And then I have a feedback form asking for information about what helped, so that or what wasn't helpful, so that I can update it, and then any updates I will share with you. So you get this information for 3 months, and then you have, in that 3 month time period, you get an opportunity to schedule an hour, and sometimes it go a little bit longer, because I plan for an hour. But if you need an hour and 10 minutes or hour and 15 minutes, we will definitely do that. And some people then go on to become a member of the Tech Hub for Tutors because they want more information. But this was really set up just to kind of give you, it's a little bit like you're just going to test it out and see, like, would these things work for me? So, but even if you're a current tutor and you're like, oh, I just kind of need a little bit more help in some areas, you can get the help right here. And so for $99 US, you can get this information, and all you have to do is go to my website. And I honestly don't know that I've got that up here. Let me just pull it up in the background. I'll share my screen. I think I can share my screen. I never know when I go live here. Let's see here. Let's see if I can share my screen. Give me 2 seconds to pull this up. All right, let's see if I can share my screen. Oh, that is always tricky. Nope, I don't think I can once I go live. I think once I'm live, I'm kind of done. All right, and I don't see it on the other site. Let me see my settings. Can I do that? No, I can't. So I will leave that information in the comments for you. As a matter of fact, I will just grab that and stick that in there right now, and you guys can go and click on that. And it's about halfway down the page, you'll see the form that I need you to fill out, and then I will send you the information. So we'll see if that comes up here. Okay, it looks like it's been posted. I want to thank everybody who's going to watch this later, because I know nobody was here on the live, because guess what? You're all working. That's great. You're going to see this later. And guess what? I'm going to be working very shortly, because I start my tutoring usually around 3:30 at night, and I am wrapped up by 7 p.m. So that's the awesome thing about being a private tutor. You can set your days, you can set your times, and you get to work with awesome students. And I have to tell you, I have some pretty amazing families. So families, if you're watching this, I say hi, and I will see your child very soon. You guys make it a great day, and as usual, keep the learning going.